The time has come, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube has finally removed the dislikes off of its platform. Technically, I mean, all they did was they changed the visibility of the dislikes, so you as a viewer won't be able to see the dislikes, but the content creator will still be able to see it. So this is the announcement that Team YouTube gave out over on Twitter to reduce targeted dislike attacks and their impact on creators, especially on smaller creators. You'll no longer see a public dislike count on YouTube starting today. The dislike button is staying. This comes after a lot of research, testing, and consideration. And of course, they have the video, and I saw a small snippet of it, and I was like, okay, I can vibe with that. Because beforehand, I was talking about it with myself. I was throwing out ideas and stuff. And here's a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Here is a hot take. Ignore what I said in the past, right? Like, I know I've already made a video on this topic, and I'm pretty sure it was more inclined to be like, oh, I don't want this to happen, this is terrible. But now that I'm more thinking about this, right, like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like, you know what? This could possibly be a good thing. Because here's the deal, though, ladies and gentlemen. I understand the arguments given by other people that, you know, that taking away the dislikes is a bad thing, especially for YouTube as a platform, all right? Dislikes has been an integral part of YouTube, right? For its entirety, for its entire existence, right? The likes have always been there. The dislikes has always been there, right? But throughout the years, especially starting around 2016, I really started to see, you know, dislikes being used more as a weapon, right? Because dislikes are a tool. They're a good tool. They were a good tool. And some might say that dislikes are still a good tool. And you know what? I could see it. I could see it, definitely. But here's the deal, though, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it's being used more as a weapon. And you can't lie to yourselves, right, that you haven't seen this at least once on the platform, where you see someone getting disliked bombed for whatever godforsaken reason, okay, whether it's warranted or unwarranted. Most of the time, I think it's just unwarranted. Maybe you, as a content creator, have seen this happen to yourself, where, say you got into beef, or you said one thing that was, you know, not very popular, and you see a lot of dislikes on that video. So like I said, the years go by, a lot of people are starting to use the dislikes for the wrong reasons, and they honestly go over this in the video, and I honestly have to agree with them. I genuinely do. I'm sure many of you will disagree with me on this, and I am absolutely fine with that. I am not against criticism. I think I've always said that if you have a problem with what I say, or just me personally, just let me know. You know, I ain't no bitch. Maybe I was a bitch back in, you know, 2016, or just when I was younger, because I've had problems like that before, and I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt me. I was like, oh, it's like, it's so terrible, bro. Because there's this one person who just, like, disliked just the like, all of my videos that I uploaded in that period, he would always dislike it. So whenever I uploaded a video, I would get like 30 dislikes just immediately like that. And, you know, for a kid, it fucked me up. It fucked me up. But now that I'm older, you know, now I don't fucking care. All right, like, if y'all remember that other Christian video that I made that got over 100K views, yeah, it has a lot of dislikes, because a lot of people felt like the thumbnail was misleading. Even to this day, I'm like, not really. I can kind of see why, but at the same time, it's a poorly photoshopped fucking thumbnail. All right, like, if you honestly got tricked by it and got mad, you're a retard. All right, you're a goddamn moron. That's just, it's as simple as that. But yeah, I got a lot of dislikes from it. I got a little mad because, you know, I was like, I thought all of those people were fucking idiots. But at the same time, I was like, nope, I'm just gonna cope. I'll be fine. All right, I made a little video talking about it, and then there you go. That's it. All right, I was fine. I wasn't suicidal at any point in that fucking situation. But I would imagine that, you know, like, the highlight here, the smaller content creators, yeah, like, that would fuck them up. You know, it's a huge problem, especially for smaller content creators, because it's easier, right? Because they don't have the audience that can beat the dislike ratio, right? So it's easy to ratio someone on YouTube, right? So, like, all you have to do is have a bigger audience than the other content creator, and then boom, like, there you go. You just disliked bombing into, like, you know, a small content creator. Congratulations. So I think this could possibly be a viable way of combating this, right? Once again, may I remind you that while you are unable to see the dislikes, right? they will still see the dislikes, right? So if you still want to do the whole dislike bomb thing, you absolutely can, all right? They will still see that. So if you want that person to mold, you want them to cope and seethe, then by all means, go for it. They'll still see it if they choose to see it. All they have to do is go on YouTube Studio, and it's right there. All right, the analytics is right fucking there, and you know, that could fuck them up if that's what you want, right? But the only person that I can see molding in this situation is the viewer, right? Because you know, for two reasons. One, they're unable to determine of whether or not the video is good, right? Because, like I said before, I understand the argument that, you know, dislikes are an important part of YouTube. You know, it determines, like, you look at the dislikes because it's like, oh, you know, is this video good? Is it bad? Especially for tutorials, I do that shit all the time. But it's something that I don't do all the time. I find myself only doing it for, you know, just looking at tutorials, right? Literally anything else, I just honestly disregard it to the point where I keep forgetting to like videos. Right, and I feel like the majority of people, forgive me, this might be a hot take as well, like, I feel like the majority of people do the same thing as well, where they just honestly disregard the likes and the dislikes altogether, unless someone tells them to like the video or dislike the video, and it kind of sucks to have YouTube come along and make things more friendlier, right, to make things more, I guess, quote-unquote, bitch-proof. But I think it's a sad little punishment that is well-deserved, especially for people that are abusing the dislike system, right? Like, you ruin the fun for everyone, right? You ruin the importance of the dislikes for everyone. But that's a part of what I think so far. If you have any more questions, do let me know in the comment section down below, but do be polite, because, again, the whole YouTube thing, making things bitch-proof, it's gonna boot your comment if you have something, like anything mildly offensive, right? Anything mildly offensive, you will get cucked, alright, by YouTube. So, be passive-aggressive. Be like, you know, walk the thin line. Don't go over the line. Walk the thin line. Walk close to the line. Alright, but anyways, let's go ahead and watch this video. It's only 3 minutes long, and I'll just give you, like, live commentary, so let's see what this man has to say on the update of YouTube's dislike count.
Hey folks, you may have seen a while back that YouTube announced it was experimenting with making dislike counts private to only the creator of the video.
I think originally they announced that they were going to remove the entirety of the dislikes, which, you know, a lot of people weren't happy with that. I wasn't happy with that as well. Like I said before in the beginning of the video, I was one of the people that was like, hey, I really don't like this. I think this is going to be a bad idea. You know, I could still change my mind now. Like, I literally changed my mind just today about the whole dislike thing being a bad thing. I think this could possibly be a good thing. Alright, like, I think I'm gonna have an open mind about this, where it's like, yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I think it could have some positive outcomes from this. Of course, it probably will have some negative stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and be like it's gonna be all positive, but I think the positive will definitely outweigh the bad. If not, call me out. You're absolutely right. But anyways, let's continue on.
Now, if you're like me, you were surprised by that. I mean, I've always thought seeing the number of dislikes on a video helps us know as viewers if it's a good video or not, if it's a helpful tutorial or not, or if what a creator is saying in their video is generally agreed with or not. But
yeah, and like I said, that's something that, you know, a lot of people do as well. Like, you know, it's like, including me. Like, when it comes to tutorials or something that is, yes, just tutorials in general, I will look at the like and dislike ratio to see whether or not, you know, if it's a reliable video. So if it has more likes and dislikes, obviously I think it's going to be a reliable video. Or if a video has more dislikes, I'm going to think, oh, it's going to be an unreliable video. I'm not going to watch it. Right? I'm not going to waste any more time, right? Because time is essential. Time is important. If you are wasting time, you're going to get upset, right? So it's like, okay, well, what the fuck? I just wasted like 5 minutes trying to figure out whether or not this is a good video or not. But like I said before, I think it's just something that's becoming more and more less of a thing people, you know, are doing nowadays. I think it's just more like people looking at the counts to see like, oh, you know, can I boost the likes or can I boost the dislikes? It can go either way. It can go either way.
Fortunately, research teams at YouTube have found there's this whole other use for disliking a video that I had never experienced as a creator, and you may not have either. Apparently, groups of viewers are targeting a video's dislike button to drive up the count, turning it into something like a game with a visible scoreboard. And it's usually just because they don't like the creator or what they stand for.
And that's something that is a little concerning because, they said researchers, like we got researchers to, figure this out. I would love to see the analytics of that. I would love to see the results of this. I think that if you posted this to a public source like Twitter, just literally anywhere that anyone could see it, I think would support it. I think would support it. If they have the numbers, if it supports it, I think people would be more calm about this. Be like, oh, okay, that's a little unfortunate, but I think people are like, yeah, maybe, sure, maybe this could be a good thing. But if you have no, evidence to support this, right? Like if you don't show the proof of this, the conclusions that you've come to with the researchers, it's gonna be very difficult for the audience to believe you, right? So I think it would be in their best interest to release it. If they don't, then it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to, accept.
That's a big...
But then again, that's what we said about literally anything that has been inconvenient to us that has been added to YouTube, like Copa, what was it, like the other stuff? There were other things as well that it's not coming to my head right now. But every time there was something that was going to be, the YouTube Red thing, that thing was considered a big issue. But whenever it was added, like whenever it was announced, people would lose their minds, be like, "Fuck, no, this is terrible!" Everyone would sound the alarm and shit like that. But once it was released, once it was, integrated into the system, people just didn't give a shit about it anymore. It just, in months' time, or even a week's time, people just didn't give a shit about it anymore. So they just moved on with their day and just pretended as if there was nothing, like as if like that wasn't even an issue. Like Copa right now is not an issue at all. Literally all you have to do is just check, no, it's not made for kids, and boom, there you go. You're good to go. You're fine. You're okay. It's not a big deal. It honestly really wasn't a big deal in the first place, but it's a new thing. New changes will always scare people. This is something that is actually really fucking scary for a lot of people, including myself. But I'm here saying that this could possibly be a good idea.
Problem when half of YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice. So
that's debatable. That's debatable. Alright, that's the part I'm just like, I don't necessarily agree with that, YouTube giving everyone an equal platform. But hey, if you want to say they're trying, then hey, I guess they're trying. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's just, I don't think that's necessarily true. But, that we're not here to talk about your integrity. We're just here to talk about the whole dislike system.
So, earlier in 2021, YouTube experimented with making the public dislike count private to see if it would help reduce these coordinated dislike attacks across the platform. And after analysis, they did see a reduction.
And that would make sense, obviously, because people want to see things burn. If that makes sense, right? So, like, if you see someone you don't like receive a lot of dislikes, you're going to get enjoyment out of this. Your violent delights will have violent ends, right? Because you want the content creator to mauled. You want to see your success and their failure, right? In the dislikes. But you take the dislikes out of the equation, all you have is the hope that they see it. But you they do, right? They see the dislikes, right? But you can't see the dislikes. So that could possibly make the viewer or the people who are, misusing the dislike system to maul, to, get upset over. So it definitely makes sense that dislike assaults, decreased with the visibility change of the dislikes. I think it absolutely makes sense. But then again, once again, right? Show us the evidence. Show us this, the analytics of this, right? Like, you've done research, show us the research, right? Just don't just tell us. Show us this stuff. And then that would be easier for us to understand and be like, okay, we could possibly be more accepting of this, right? Because at this very moment, you just telling us isn't really doing all of us a favor, right?
So, the update from YouTube is that the dislike button is staying, but the dislike counts will now be private. You can still dislike videos, and that action will be used to tune your own recommendations, but you won't be able to see the dislike count. Only the creator can find it on the back end if they want. Now, a few common questions we saw from the...
Like I said before, yeah, it's something that the creator can still watch. If they remove dislikes altogether, where the content creator can't see it, you can't see it, no one can see it, it's not even there, I would say that's a bad thing. I would say that is something that should not happen. I completely would disagree with that. But since the content creator is still able to see the dislikes, right, then in that case, I think it's okay. It's good. I think it's going to be a good thing. Again, I think this is something that's going to be positive towards the end. Because in that case, when they do that, they're forcing the dislikes to become a tool, right? As it should have been in the first place. Not a weapon, but as a tool, right? So the content creator can still look at the video and see whether or not the audience received the video well or not well, right? So they can look at that and be like, okay, maybe they like this video, they don't like this video, like what did I do wrong, what's something I can do more. And also the comment section is also very helpful, right? It's not the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. We still have the comment section, right? You just can't be so fucking aggressive in your comments, right? So you can still say, oh, this video is pretty misleading and stuff like that, and that would still work, right? Unless the person is a fucking bitch and deletes the comments on their own fruition and it's not YouTube. In that case, in that regard, fucking light them up on Twitter. I'd literally take screenshots and then post it on Twitter and then bitch about it. There you go. Easy dub right there. But yeah, I think they're just forcing the dislikes to become a tool. And it's a sad thing to see, but is it a necessity? I think it might be. Again, only time will tell.
Initial experiment. First, without a public dislike count, how can viewers tell if a video is worth watching? Again, I kind of had this question too, but it turns out that while viewers might use the dislike count to give them a sense of a video's worth, when the teams looked at the data across millions of viewers and videos in the experiment, they didn't see a noticeable difference in viewership, regardless of whether they could see the dislike count or not. In other words, it didn't really matter if a video had a lot of dislikes or not, they still watched. Next common question.
Yikes. Yikes. Again, show us the research, show us the evidence, show us the information, and then people will be like, okay, this is a little bit more understandable. Unless they want to say, oh, this is fraudulent information, and you can't really do anything about that. But oof, man. Like I kind of had the feeling that, like I said, people don't really use the like to dislike ratio to actually determine if you want to watch the video. You just watch the video because you just watch the video. Like me as an individual, I understand that a lot of you are not like me, and I'm glad a lot of you are not like me, but when it comes to me, when I look at a video, I don't automatically look at the likes or the dislikes, unless it's a tutorial. In that case, I will look at it. But literally anything else, any other fucking video, I don't fucking give a shit about the likes or dislikes. Alright, I will literally look at a video on whether or not I like it or not. If it's boring, or if I don't like it, I will simply click off. It is that fucking simple. Alright, if I felt extremely inconvenienced, I could possibly dislike a video. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, it is rare for me. It is a rare commodity for me to actually dislike a video. I'm pretty sure if I looked at my old YouTube account that I'm still using to this day, it's been several years now, like at least 7 or 10 years maybe, I would see the dislikes that I've seen overall, the videos that I've disliked overall would be at least under 300. At least under 300. Maybe less than that. Maybe less than 100, I bet you. Right? But likes, probably more than 100, but it's just something that people don't really use. It's just something I honestly don't think people use correctly nowadays.
If creators can still see the dislike count on the back end, how's that any different? They can see it if they look for it inside Studio Analytics under the Engagement tab. But overall, it's much less likely to cause stress and embarrassment if the count isn't visible to the public.
And there's something that I have to point out as well that is kind of contradictory, that kind of works against YouTube, right? Is the whole analytic thing on your videos, Right, let me go ahead and show you this. I am not sure if I'm gonna get my ass fucked because of this. But let me just show you the dashboard right here. Do you see this right here? This is the ranking by views. Right, so if a video does well, it will be like, oh, it's 3 out of 4 or 1 out of 10. But if your video does poorly via views, then it'll be like 10 out of 10, which is bad. That can demoralize a lot of fucking people. Shit. I even find myself being like, fuck, that sucks, seeing that shit. Where it's just like, oh, it only made it to the top 10. Oh, that kind of fucking sucks. It is a rare thing for me as a content creator, to see a video be number 1, right, in the ranking of my videos. Like, usually I see it around 7, 8, 9, 10, because I'm a small content creator, not a lot of people watch my fucking videos, right? So, it's contradictory. I think that's a contradiction of what they want to do. If it's honestly something, when it comes to like, oh, we want to uplift our creators, I think it would be in their best interest to remove this part right here. Maybe even remove this part where it's just like, oh, you're doing great, or it's like you're just like, yeah, it's just you're doing great or you're doing terrible, because it either can be gray like that. It used to be red. But apparently red is too offensive and it's just like, that's terrible. But I think that's something that they could look into, where it's just like they could possibly remove it. I wouldn't freak out as much if they did that, but I don't know. Like I said, I think it's pretty contradictory on their part to remove the dislikes for the public view, make it a little bit more difficult for the content creator to see it so they don't get demoralized, while at the same time having this shit right here that's like right in their fucking face as they open up the YouTube Creator Studio.
And one more common question, is this because YouTube Rewind got lots of dislikes? No, although there are some teams internally who have learned the hard way what it feels like to get lots of dislikes. Now, this is...
Boo-hoo! 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 Don't care. I do not care. I quite literally do not care. And a lot of people are speculating as to why they're doing this in the first place. And it's like, that could be it. I saw other people do polls on whether or not it's like, it could be because of the Joe Biden dislike bombing. Dislike bombing, not a legitimate. You get me? Don't FBI, don't get my ass. I swear to God, please, it's not like that. Or just like any other fucking reason, right? It's a very difficult thing to figure out why they did this in the first place. But at the same time, I have to reiterate that I think this could possibly be a positive thing. But yeah, I think that's basically that video right there, and I think this is basically the video right here. I gave you all my thoughts about this. I think this is going to be a good thing in the end. I think this is something that YouTube is not going to revert anytime soon at all, because like they said, they were doing some research and shit like that. I would love to see the analytics of that research. I would love to see that. I think a lot of people would too. So if they can just show us that, that would be great. But if they don't, then that's a little sussy, not gonna lie. But yeah, I am for the visibility change of the dislikes system on YouTube. What do you guys think? Do you think you're for it, or do you think you're against it? And I feel like a lot of you are going to be against it, so I'm going to be very interested to read the comments on this video. Who knows, maybe one of you could change my mind. We'll see. But anyways, thank you everyone for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button. You want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified on my next video. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.